Good day, my fellow adventurers. We have been using the Valve Index for about a month now, so almost naturally, it is time for another headset review. In this video, I'll let you know our final thoughts on the Index and answer the question on whether we think this headset is worth its price. If you already own the Valve Index, let us know if you agree or don't agree with us by leaving a comment down below. Your thoughts might be able to help others too, so let's help each other out. In case you are looking for a specific subject, make sure to check out the timestamps I put in the description. And now, let's talk virtual reality.
For those that are new to the Valve Index, let's start with a quick introduction. In 2016, Valve, the company behind Steam and game classics like Half-Life, Portal and Dota 2, have dipped their toes in VR by co-developing and launching the HTC Vive. Now, using that experience, Valve has launched its own VR headset named the Valve Index. It's a high-fidelity headset with significant upgrades over the first VR headsets. The most intriguing upgrades are the display's high refresh rate and its low persistence. It also has increased field of view and speakers never seen before in other VR headsets. The Valve Index released on June 28, 2019. A full kit which includes the VR headset, 2 Valve base stations and the Valve Index controllers cost $999 or 1,079 euros. If you already own an HTC Vive, you can decide to upgrade in parts, since the headset will work on the HTC Vive base stations version 1.0. You can order everything in the kit separately.
As of now, you can only get the Valve Index in certain countries. I'll link the countries and also the order page in our description. And we'll dive into the technical specs later on, but let's talk about its look and feel first. They say appearances doesn't matter, but with VR headsets, the exterior is just as important as its interior for the best experience.
So, this is the Valve Index. It has a glossy, transparent front panel which you can remove. Once taken out, it shows the air vents for the cooling system and a front expansion slot with a USB-A connector. Valve's goal with this is to allow smart creators to mod the headset more easily. These 4 little holes are magnetic and allow for easy reattachment of the plastic front panel. There are also 2 cameras on the front that allows for pass-through and hopefully more in the future. Right now I don't find this very useful as the pass-through software is slow. At the bottom there is a button that opens Steam VR. And at the left there is an interpupillary distance slider allowing you to move the lenses closer to each other to match your eyes. Then there is the strap, which is just like the deluxe audio strap. There's a dialer at the back that you can turn to make the strap tighter. The sides are spring-loaded to give you room for putting on the headset without having to loosen it again, which is a welcome little detail. The cushions have a denim look, but they feel softer. There is a removable faceplate which uses magnets too to make it easily reattachable. There's also a dialer at the right of the headset that you can turn to move the lenses closer to your eyes, giving you extra field of view. More about this later. The headset comes with a display port and a USB 3.0 cable and a power adapter attached. So no more extra link box to power the device. The cable length is 5 meters or 16 feet. And of course, the audio solution by Valve. If you look closely, you will see that these are speakers and not on-ear headphones, which is what you usually see in other VR headsets. But more about the audio quality later.
Let's talk about comfort now. For me, I do think the Valve Index is one of the most comfortable headsets that we own. It has great weight distribution, and combined with the faceplate and the cushions, I do think it will fit most heads. The Halo design strap of the Rift S and the PSVR are still the most comfortable to me, since it takes away slightly more front heaviness, but the Valve Index comes very close. The Valve Index speakers do not touch the ears, which help more with comfort too. And headsets like the Rift S and the PSVR both need an external sound solution like headphones for good sound. And because of this, I think the Index wins on comfort overall. Now let's move on to the specs. And while you're watching this video, please leave a like to show your support.
First up, this headset has 2 LCD panels with a resolution of 1440 x 1600 per eye. While this is the same as the Vive Pro, these LCDs have more subpixels than the OLED display of the Vive Pro, which allows for better sharpness. However, the LCDs come at the cost of grayer blacks. Do the grayer blacks matter though? While I can see the difference, I don't think it matters much unless you only play dark games. The sharpness makes up for it in most other games. Reading text and playing games are both crispy clear using the index. I think this has to do with the higher refresh rate and the low persistence too. You can crank up the refresh rate of the Valve Index from 80 and 90 Hz to 120 and 144 Hz. Cranking it up makes everything noticeably smooth and crisper when compared to a 72 Hz device.
In other headset reviews, I have said that I don't notice much difference in refresh rate between 72 to 90 Hz, but going to 120 and 144 is a significant difference. Games are much smoother and I notice more detail. Does it allow me to play more comfortably without getting motion sick? Well, I haven't noticed much difference here, but I think by now I've gotten a fair pair of VR legs.
Here's the catch though. Please be aware that we are running the Index on a PC with an i9-9900K CPU and a 2080 Ti graphics card, so we can play games at 144 Hz without much trouble. But if you don't have the PC requirements for it, you won't be able to do this without frame drops. You don't need the same specs as us, but I suggest you to check which specs allows you to crank up the refresh rate.
The Valve Index displays also feature low persistence, which means that these displays prevent motion blur when you move your head, so anything you see in the headset stays as sharp when moving as when you're standing still. Valve says that their low persistence is actually a 5 times improvement over the first generation PC VR headsets like the original Rift and the HTC Vive.
So while the resolution is slightly more than the Rift S and exactly the same as the HTC Vive Pro, these upgrades allow for a better clarity still. I think the Valve Index's high refresh rate combined with the low persistence is the reason that I'm noticing more detail. It is an improvement over all other headsets I've tried so far. Since the displays are LCDs, it also offers better fill factor than OLED, which basically means that the screen covers more light-emitting pixels. The better the fill factor, the crisper the image, and also less screen door effect. And here the Valve Index does noticeably have less screen door effect than the HTC Vive Pro, and much less SDE compared to the original Rift and HTC Vive. The SDE is still there on the Valve Index, but I only noticed it when I look for it. The lenses seem different too, but the most interesting part is that Valve has made the lenses adjustable, allowing you to increase the field of view by putting the lenses as close as possible to your eyes. The field of view difference is definitely noticeable. It might not seem a lot, but if you switch to a lower FOV headset and switch back straight away, then you'll notice it. I can still see the borders of the headset though, and the field of view increase is not as much as the Pimax 5K Plus, but enough to make me feel more immersed. Valve has also canted the displays outward a little bit to increase FOV a little bit further. It seems like Valve's experience with making the HTC Vive has paid off here. Now, the Valve Index also has some rough aspects. First thing I've noticed is that the new lenses seem to bring more Godrays and glare. Mostly only happens if you are looking at something with high contrast, like white text on a black background. You'll see the white text kind of get washed out like it has a slight glow around it. In reality, the contrast is lightening up the edges of the lenses. It seems to be worse than the original Vive. I usually forget about it though when playing a game, but it is more noticeable to me than with other headsets. The front of the headset seems to get hot too. I don't notice this on my face, but when I touch the headset it feels very hot. The cooling system blows the warmth out in the front, but it seems like the plastic front is keeping the heat in. So I tend to remove the plastic front when I'm playing longer sessions. It looks less cool, but it seems safer. This makes me wonder why there aren't more air vents on the sides. People have said that the headset gets too hot when playing in long sessions and that it creates issues with fogging. I've been waiting for the heat to become an issue, but it hasn't for me yet. As for tracking, the Valve Index uses external sensors to track the headset. It uses the same system as the HTC Vive, so with 2 base stations in your play space, you can get accurate full 360 degrees tracking. This tracking system has always offered the best tracking for us. As of this moment, there is no other VR tracking system that tops this one for us. So yes, the Valve Index tracking is good. However, this comes at the cost of a more complicated initial setup and much more cables. The Valve Index is backward compatible with the original HTC Vive base stations version 1.0. We have tried both the original Vive base stations as well as the new Valve Index base stations. I don't notice a difference in tracking here. The Valve base station does seem easier to set up for accurate tracking since the new tech doesn't require the base stations to see each other and it has a bigger range too.
But if you're already on the Vive base stations, you most likely will have the setup ready, so you won't need to change anything. If you are on a budget, I recommend just keeping the old base stations while ordering the Index headset and their Index controllers separately.
As for the controllers, they are fantastic. They offer natural hand interactions like opening your hand to drop something without dropping the controllers, or doing the peace sign, or even flipping the bird. It is a lot of fun, and no other controllers are more natural at the moment. Whether the controllers is worth its price will heavily depend on how many developers will support it. I will be posting a separate video review on the controller soon, as I think some people are interested in just the controllers with their current headset. Stay tuned for that. Now, one of the most curious parts of the Valve Index for me was the audio solution. These might look like headphones from afar, but if you look closer, they are actually off-ear speakers. They float in the air and so they don't touch your ear. However, the sound is still well directed in your ear, offering great 3D surround sound, making it feel like the sound is coming from around you. This immerses me more in the game and also maybe slightly silly, but it makes me feel safer too, being able to hear what is going on in real life. And the audio is fantastic to me. The bass sounds good and it has enough power to make it very loud. I usually have the sound lower than 50%. If you have people over, they can hear what you do if you put it very loud, but at a low volume, there is surprisingly almost no audio leakage, while the audio stays clear to the player. This is a very pleasant audio solution and one I hope more VR headset manufacturers will consider later. And for the true audiophiles out there, you can remove these speakers and replace it with other headphones. So, do I think the extra clarity is worth the price difference when compared to, for example, the Rift S? It is only fair to compare the full kit price of the Valve Index with the Rift S price, since buying the Rift S for $399 includes the controllers and full 360 tracking. The full Valve Index kit costs $999. That is a $600 difference, and I think that is expensive because the extra clarity is not that much of a difference when compared with the Rift S. On top of that, you will need a beefy PC to be able to handle the higher refresh rate for the extra clarity, and thus you'll need even more money. So if you're looking to buy your first VR headset and don't have the PC requirements to run a high refresh rate, I think the Rift S would suffice. However, if you are a VR enthusiast and you use VR quite often, the Valve Index is the top choice right now over headsets in the same price range, like the HTC Vive Pro. As a VR enthusiast myself, I am very happy with this headset. I think Valve was able to deliver what they promised. I do miss the clarity, field of view and refresh rate when playing with a different headset now, so as of now, this is my new go-to headset for any Steam VR games.
So, do you agree with our final thoughts on the Valve Index headset? Let us know your thoughts, agreed or disagreed. Anything you comment down below might help a future VR enthusiast. Plus, we would love to hear ourselves too. A special thanks goes to artArmin and a special shout out goes to his Patreon page. Everyone, thank you so much for watching once again, and as always, VR on!